All right, so we got to talk about what's going on in Venezuela, man, because as per usual, it is completely and utterly out of control. The last I checked, we had 83 people get murdered in terror attacks committed by the U.S. military, ordered by Trump. I believe it was at least 21 boats that were bombed, 83 people killed. It's not only in the Caribbean off the coast of Venezuela, we're also bombing in the Pacific for some reason. Just absolutely ludicrous. These boats, by the way, they are incapable of reaching the U.S. What Trump is claiming is they're springing drugs here, they're killing people with fentanyl, that's what's happening. Well, come to find out, these little dingy boats, you would need to refuel them 20 times for them to reach the U.S. That's point number one. Point number two is, they say fentanyl is coming from Venezuela. Literally no fentanyl comes from Venezuela. Zero. None. In fact, in the broader drug trade, it's something like 10% or less of the drugs come from Venezuela at all. So in other words, this has nothing to do with drugs. Nothing at all. That is their cover story. That is their lie. That is the Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction moment for them. That's what it is. It's fake. It's not real. So it is just absolutely grotesque what's happening. Now, at the same time, they've added more and more warships. They've added more and more fighter jets. They've added more and more drones. They've sent more U.S. military personnel to the region. And every day, we get closer to what appears like a full-on attempt at regime change of the Venezuelan government. Well, now I got some new reporting. Look at this from Reuters. Exclusive. U.S. to launch new phase of Venezuela operations, sources say. The United States is poised to launch a new phase of Venezuela-related operations in the coming days, 4 U.S. officials told Reuters as the Trump administration escalates pressure on President Nicolas Maduro's government. Reuters was not able to establish the exact timing or scope of the new operations, nor whether U.S. President Trump has made a final decision to act. Reports of looming action have proliferated in recent weeks as the U.S. military has deployed forces to the Caribbean amid worsening relations with Venezuela. 2 of the U.S. officials said covert operations would likely be the first part of the new action against Maduro. All 4 officials quoted in this article spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of impending action by the United States. Let me just pause to point out, basically what they're saying is the next phase on top of doing terror attacks and murdering innocent fishermen is the CIA doing covert operations. Remember, the Venezuelan government also said, we were able to stop an attempted false flag attack. So the United States was going to attack one of their own ships and say, that was Venezuela who did it. And you have the Venezuelan government saying, we were able to stop that. That's insane, bro. That's insane. The Pentagon referred questions to the White House. The CIA declined to comment. A senior administration official on Saturday did not rule out anything regarding Venezuela. Well, that's good. President Trump is prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice, said the official, speaking on the condition of anonymity. The Trump administration has been weighing Venezuela-related options to combat what it has portrayed as Maduro's role in supplying illegal drugs that have killed Americans. He has denied having any links to the illegal drug trade. 2 U.S. officials told Reuters the options under consideration included attempting to overthrow Maduro, that's regime change. Maduro, in power since 2013, has contended that Trump seeks to oust him and that Venezuelan citizens and the military will resist such an attempt. The Venezuelan president, who will celebrate his 63rd birthday on Sunday, appeared on Saturday night at Caracas's main theater for the premiere of a television series based on his life. A military buildup in the Caribbean has been underway for months, and Trump has authorized covert CIA operations in Venezuela. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration on Friday warned major airlines of a potentially hazardous situation when flying over Venezuela and urged them to exercise caution. Holy fucking shit. The 3 international airlines canceled flights departing from Venezuela on Saturday after the FAA warning. Guys, again, like red alert. It's happening. It's going down. The fact that now the airlines officially are going, you know what? We're going to go ahead and cancel some of these flight skis. That is not a good sign, bro. That is really not a good sign. The United States plans on Monday to designate the Cartel de los Soles, a foreign terrorist organization, for its alleged role in importing illegal drugs into the U.S., officials said. The Trump administration has accused Maduro of leading Cartel de los Soles, which he denies. All right, so let me explain this, because this is absolutely ludicrous, what we're talking about here. This Cartel de los Soles, this is their attempt to come up with some sort of story, some sort of narrative that can explain why we have to take action and we have to overthrow Maduro and we have to take over Venezuela. This is the best they could come up with. They literally made up a fake cartel name, a fake gang name, and they said, Maduro's the head of it. What? Literally, when I say this, believe me when I say it is true. There is zero evidence of the existence of anything like this. Zero. Totally made it up. Totally made it up. This is as made up as Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. This is as made up as the story that got us into, I think, the first Gulf War of, the babies in incubators being killed. It is amazing that they even bother. Guys, like, we have data in this era, right? Like, we know virtually none of the drugs come from Venezuela and literally zero fentanyl comes from Venezuela. We know that. We know, based on reporting from Dropsite News, Ryan Grimm, and Sagar and Jetty, they got the scoop that in the White House, Marco Rubio and Trump and all these assholes, fucking Hegseth and all of them, they were plotting to attack not only Venezuela, in Venezuela proper, but they also had targets in Colombia and Mexico that they were going to attack. Colombia and Mexico. This is fucking ludicrous, bro. This is so out of control. People have no idea how out of control this really is. In fact, let me give you this other story too, because man, does this say everything. Top military lawyer raised concerns about Trump's drug boat strikes and was promptly ignored. The senior judge advocate general reportedly raised concerns that the airstrikes against the alleged narco-terrorists could amount to extrajudicial killings. You don't say. You don't fucking say. Remember, the admiral who oversees these things, he resigned. He resigned. Now we learn that there's legal experts behind the scenes going, hey man, you really can't put lipstick on this pig. This is wildly illegal. Because as I've told you, even if you take their story at face value, which you shouldn't because they're lying, but even if you took their story at face value, the punishment for somebody trafficking drugs is not instant vaporization and death. Duh. Duh. Could you imagine, like, the local drug dealer driving their Cadillac and they get fucking just zonked by a drone with a laser from the sky and just blown to smithereens like that? Everybody knows that's untenable. The same fucking thing here. If it were drugs and they were bringing them into the country, which again, none of that is true, but even if that was the case, you board them, you seize the drugs, you arrest them, and you fucking try them. But no, they're just blowing these people up. This is how you know how stupid they are, is like, even their cover story is illegal. Like, they took time to craft this lie about, oh, it's the drugs and it's the narco-terrorists, and even their cover story is illegal. It's not even some shit that's defensible in court. So that's why you have top military lawyers going, hey man, just saying, this doesn't really add up. You can't really do this. Okay, more. Let's dive right in. A top military lawyer raised concerns over the legality of the Trump administration strikes on drug boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, but was ignored by higher-ups, according to a new report. The senior judge advocate general, the JAG, posted at U.S. Southern Command in Miami, reportedly raised concerns that the strikes against the alleged narco-terrorists could amount to extrajudicial killings and legally expose American service members involved in such operations. Which, by the way, we covered a story the other week. A lot of the soldiers who are being told you have to do X, Y, and Z, they are seeking outside counsel. They're seeking legal advice from lawyers and going, hey man, can I do this? So everybody knows. Everybody's going, smells like horseshit. Smells like horseshit. Something's not right here. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't add up. What they're asking me to do is wildly and clearly illegal. And what would you expect from the same guy that's illegally invading U.S. cities with the U.S. military, that's sending Red State National Guard to invade blue cities? What would you expect from the guy who built Alligator Auschwitz? What would you expect from the guy who sent 288 innocent people to Sikot, a concentration camp in El Salvador, and then sat back as they got raped and tortured? This is a rogue criminal regime. And as I've been saying, we have to have new Nuremberg trials, and they all have to be locked the fuck up. Even Elon Musk and his little Doge underlings, everything they did was wildly illegal. Cutting pediatric cancer research and Meals on Wheels, you think that's acceptable illegally? Going after, destroying the Impoundment Control Act on a whim, the world's richest man looting the treasury, that's acceptable? No, none of it's acceptable. None of it is acceptable. They all got to go down. His concerns were raised in August, the sources said, prior to the first strikes, which occurred against small boats in the Caribbean on September 2nd. The strikes have since expanded with assaults on the Eastern Pacific, killing at least 80 people in all in 20 strikes on alleged smuggling craft. The JAG was identified as Marine Colonel Paul Meagher by several of the sources who spoke to NBC. Operations of a similar nature typically move forward based on the opinion of the JAG, though they can be overruled by higher administration officials. Meagher's reported concerns align with those of human rights groups and experts on international law, who have also warned that the strikes are illegal, with the governments of both Venezuela and Colombia accusing the Trump administration of engaging in extrajudicial murder. They're 100 trillion zillion percent right. Everybody knows that. Here's the problem. We now live in a post-Gaza world where Israel live streamed in 4K a genocide where they massacred hundreds of thousands of innocent Palestinians. They bombed schools, they bombed hospitals, they bombed UN buildings, they sniped doctors in the face, they sniped children in the face, they were graping Palestinian prisoners on camera and then getting away with it. And Israeli citizens were doing right to grape protests, by the way. All of that happened. Now they're finishing the genocide. They're finishing the ethnic cleansing. They're getting started on the West Bank. They're trying to create a greater Israel. And the entire time, gaslighting us. The entire time, I don't know what you're talking about. We're just being defensive. We're just going after Hamas. Oh, do you have video evidence? Isn't that cute? We don't give a fuck. We don't care because might makes right. There's the law of the jungle out here. We got the bigger guns. We got the backing of the bigger country. So suck our nuts. This was the reaction of Israel and the U.S. And here we are. So now Trump is going, shit, nothing happened there. Nobody can stop us. So we're going to keep going. Look, the world needs to make us pay for this. The world needs to cut off trading ties with the U.S. The world needs to openly call for the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir and Smotrich and Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth and all these fucking scumbags, these vile, disgusting scumbags. Because, look, if we live in a world with no laws, that eventually comes for all of us. Like, this is the part that is insane to me, that anybody could still be part of MAGA knowing this. Like, just imagine any other country acted like we acted. Imagine Iran was blowing up U.S. fishing boats off the coast of New York. We would fucking be launching nukes, right? But no, we do it to others and we go, shut the fuck up. We're right. What? What kind of an argument is that? It's just incredible. It's just incredible. So, unfortunately, this is now a common thing, right? Like, you have all the people with ethics and morals warning, hey, don't do it. They do it anyway. They fire the people who were telling the truth. But we got to stand up. We got to push back. We got to end this stuff because this is apocalyptic. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. This is apocalyptic. And if we don't stand up with one unified voice right now and say, hell the fuck no, they're going to do regime change in Venezuela. And by the way, we all know what it's actually about. We all know what it's actually about. It's about the natural resources. It's about the minerals. It's about the oil. Trump is on tape in 2023 saying we would have taken the oil because they tried to overthrow Maduro in his first term and failed. But he said, if we did it, we would have taken that oil. So now it's the same fucking thing. It's the same goddamn thing, but there's fewer guardrails. There's fewer voices that push back against Trump around him. He also wants to give Eric Prince, his war criminal buddy, another opportunity to occupy a country illegally, put a new puppet government in there. It's all happening, man. It's all coming undone. We gotta fight back. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.